Coach, I swear, I'm totally ready to learn muscle ups. Look, you say you want ring dips? I got ring dips. Ready? Here we go. You seeing this? It's like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Boom! I'm ready. Hey, what's up? This is Ben from WODprep, and in this video, I'm gonna help you figure out which muscle up you should learn. Should you learn ring muscle ups or bar muscle ups? Should you start with kipping or should you start with strict? Well, that's what we're gonna cover in this video. And as a special treat, since you watch this, and I know you're gonna watch it all the way to the end, smash that like button. If you do watch this video to the end, I'm actually gonna give you I'm gonna give you two really awesome free resources that will help you achieve muscle ups once and for all. So stick around to the end and I will tell you exactly where to get those free training guides. Okay, in this video, we are gonna talk about the order of progression, how I and the rest of the WODprep team teach muscle ups to our athletes. When I say muscle ups, I'm talking about strict, I'm talking about kipping, I'm talking about ring, and I'm talking about bar. So there's lots of different kinds of muscle ups that we need to understand before moving on to how do we learn them. Personally, I think it is really important to make sure that we follow the proper progressions in order to achieve our goals. If you skip all of the steps and try to jump ahead and learn a muscle up, you might end up in a funny CrossFit fail video. And we don't want that. There are already plenty of them to go around. So let's first talk about the different kinds of muscle ups before moving on to how we will achieve them. Let's talk about the 4 different kinds of muscle ups. So we have strict ring muscle ups. Then we have kipping ring muscle ups. Then we have strict bar muscle ups. Not very common in the functional fitness space, but it does exist. And then last but not least, we have kipping bar muscle ups. So in this video, we are going to talk about all 4 of those and how to achieve them, and also help you figure out which one you should focus on first based on your current ability levels. So the first thing that we need to cover when it comes to learning the muscle ups is prerequisites are everything. So I don't want you to get caught up in strict or kipping or ring or bar until we understand this fundamental thing, and that is your prerequisites will determine which route you should go. So some people are much better at strict gymnastics, so they would probably start off with more of a strict ring muscle up, or heck, maybe even a strict bar muscle up as your first muscle up. However, for those of us who have a little bit more swinging potential, or we're more comfortable with kipping movements, then obviously it does make sense that the kipping ring and the kipping bar muscle ups might be a little easier to learn. Don't worry, by the end of this video, I'll tell you exactly the strategy that I suggest, but we do need to understand that depending on your current ability levels, it will determine which muscle up you could potentially learn first. So the first one that I'm going to cover is the strict ring muscle up. When we're talking about a strict ring muscle ups, it looks just like this. We're getting a false grip, we're pulling the rings into our chest, and we're getting through the transition and into the top of the dip without any kipping or swinging at all. We have so many videos here on YouTube, and I'll make sure to link the videos that we suggest you watch if you want to focus on strict ring muscle ups and learn more about it in the comments and also in the description below. But we need to talk about the prereqs. So what are the prerequisites for strict ring muscle ups? Personally, I think around 8 strict pull-ups are necessary. So 8 strict pull-ups, at least a few deep ring dips, and at least 1 strict chest to bar pull-up. So what that means is that I personally believe in order to be prepared to start attempting and trying to do a strict ring muscle up, you need to have at least 8 strict pull-ups. So that means you can hop up on the bar and knock out 8 unbroken strict pull-ups without any swinging or kipping. Same thing goes for those super deep ring dips. When we're doing ring dips, a lot of people will only go down halfway. I need you, when you're practicing your prerequisites, you need to make sure that you're getting full range of motion all the way down and all the way back up. Because when you do catch that first muscle up, whether it's strict or kipping, when it's on the rings, it's going to be very, very low. You're gonna catch it in the deepest dip you've ever done. So we need to make sure that you can at least get out of that dip position. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people get above the rings for the transition and then they can't lock out the dip. That's not a place we wanna be, and it also can be a little dangerous up there. And then
I did it. I told you I'd do it.
It's not a rep until you finish the dip.
What? The dip?
All right, I have to lock up. It's late. I'll see you tomorrow.
Don't leave me. Coach, come back. Come back. Where are you going? What am I supposed to do? It's such a long way down. Coach, don't. Coach, help.
And then the last thing is I want to make sure that you can actually pull the rings all the way to your chest. That's the only way, without a kip, that's the only way you're going to transition in a strict ring muscle up. So in order to pull the rings to your chest, the prerequisite to that is, can you pull a bar to your chest, or can you pull yourself up so that you can do a strict chest to bar pull-up? It's not something that most people practice, but what we found here at WODprep, coaching thousands of athletes how to do their first ring muscle up, is that strict chest to bar pull-up is a really, really important prereq. So again, for the strict ring muscle up, can you do 8 or more strict pull-ups unbroken? Can you do at least a few, let's say 3 super deep ring dips unbroken, a bare minimum of 1? And then last but not least, can you do a strict chest to bar pull-up? That's kind of like a cherry on top, but if you can do at least 1 strict chest to bar pull-up, you're well on your way to learning a strict ring muscle up. Now let's talk about the kipping ring muscle up. So I will get into which order I suggest learning them, but first we got to cover these prereqs. So for the kipping ring muscle up, I suggest the same amount of pull-ups, so roughly 8 strict pull-ups you should be able to do unbroken. I recommend the same amount of strict ring dips, so you should be able to do, again, a few, at least 1, hopefully 3 or more super deep strict ring dips. But then the little twist here is, rather than focusing on strict chest to bar pull-ups, I actually want to see how many kipping chest to bar pull-ups you can do. So we're looking for at least 5 kipping chest to bar pull-ups unbroken. If you can do 8 strict pull-ups, a few 3 strict ring dips, and then several, hopefully 5 or more, kipping chest to bar pull-ups, then based on our history of coaching a lot of athletes to learn ring muscle ups, you should be able to string those prerequisites together and get a kipping ring muscle up. Ultimately, the reason that the prereq changed from strict chest to bar pull-up to kipping chest to bar pull-up is because when we're learning a kipping ring muscle up, I need to see that you have the coordination and the ability to string together kipping movements and generate momentum from your hips. There's a lot of people who are super duper strong that can easily do a strict ring muscle up. But those same super duper strong people, if they don't have any kipping skills, then chances are they're not going to learn the kipping ring muscle up. So if you find yourself skewing more towards pure raw strength and pulling ability, then probably the strict ring muscle up is going to be the easier thing for you to learn right off the bat. If you find yourself being much better at the kipping movements, more so than just your raw pulling strength, then perhaps a version of the kipping ring muscle up could be the first ring muscle up that you learn. Okay, we've covered 2 out of the 4 muscle ups. Now let's talk about number 3, the strict bar muscle up. I have to admit, strict bar muscle ups are the most difficult one for me, and honestly, they're probably the most difficult one for everyone. Strict bar muscle ups are pure pulling power. Honestly, the only prerequisite I write down and I look for when it comes to learning a strict bar muscle up is, can you do several strict chest to bar pull-ups? I would honestly say about 5 strict chest to bar pull-ups. Once you can do those unbroken and easily, then maybe you could try doing a strict bar muscle up, because frankly, it's very different from all the other muscle ups. It's basically getting a really high false grip on the bar, pulling yourself up as high as possible, hopefully high enough so that you can tilt your head forward and finish the bar muscle up. This is really good for the super gymnasty people who have incredible amounts of pulling strength and not too much body weight to pull over the bar. The 4th and final is the kipping bar muscle up. So the kipping bar muscle up, we're going to go back to those strict pull-ups. So rather than 8 for the ring muscle ups, I'm looking for around 6 strict pull-ups and 4 kipping chest to bar pull-ups and 6 kipping toes to bar. Those are the 3 prerequisites that I look for when it comes to bar muscle ups. Now, the reason we're changing things is I don't think it takes quite as much pulling strength to get over the bar. There's a lot less stability involved. You really don't have any issues finishing the dip. So that's why we switched a few things around. And when we compare the kipping bar muscle up to the kipping ring muscle up, the prereqs are quite different. So generally speaking, I think the easiest muscle up to learn first, so the first muscle up most of my athletes ever complete, is a kipping bar muscle up. And again, that's because when we look at the prerequisites, when we look at, what does it take to get here? Honestly, the bar, pun intended, is a little bit low. It's lower than all the other ones. So that means those 6 strict pull-ups, obviously that's easier to get than the 8 strict pull-ups from the ring muscle ups. The 4 kipping chest to bar pull-ups. That's not a super high number, and honestly, once you get your kip swing figured out and you have the pulling strength, that should not be too difficult. And then the last and most curious thing that I get asked about is, Ben, why do you care about toes to bar for a bar muscle up? Well, we actually have several videos about bar muscle ups, specifically kipping bar muscle ups, here on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching this. So make sure that you check the links below to watch our full bar muscle up tutorials, or like I said, at the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you where you can grab a free bar muscle up training guide. If you go there, you will then realize why the toes to bar is so important to learn a bar muscle up. What happens is that the lever, the positioning that you're in order to transfer up and over the bar, is very, very similar to the toes to bar, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So now that we have gone over the prerequisites, I know that was long, and I know there was a lot to cover there. What you need to ask yourself as an athlete is, where are you now, and what is the easiest prerequisite to get to? So if the lowest hanging fruit for you is the bar muscle up, the kipping bar muscle up, then perhaps that's the first one that you should practice and learn. Maybe you're not quite as good at toes to bar and kipping, but you have really great pulling strength. Then perhaps the strict ring muscle up and maybe even the strict bar muscle up could in fact be the first muscle ups that you attempt. Ultimately, what we need to remember is that we never, and here at WODprep, we never encourage people to go for super duper kipping anything until they have the proper prerequisites. The last thing that we want, like I warned earlier, the last thing that we want is for you to kip yourself above the rings or kip yourself above the bar and not be strong enough or coordinated enough to handle that position. So that's why it's really important that you pay attention to your prerequisites and do not try attempting bar muscle ups or ring muscle ups until you've checked off all of those boxes. Now let's talk about the order that I like to teach our athletes to learn these movements. So for the kipping ring muscle up, I like to start with strict pull-ups first. Then once you have the strict pull-up capacity, then you move on to kipping pull-ups. Once you have the kipping pull-up capacity, then we are going to work on the kipping chest to bar. Once you have the kipping chest to bar, then we know that you have the elevation needed to get above the ring. So we start with the bar, we start with strict, then kipping chest to bar. Then with a combination of some ring drills and maybe some ring dip work, you should be able to get up and over that bar. When it comes to the bar muscle up, it's very similar. We start obviously with getting that strict strength. We have to be able to do those pull-ups. Then after strict pull-ups, we move on to kipping pull-ups. And then after kipping pull-ups, normally we focus on kipping toes to bar. And then once we've done all those things, we do a little bit of kipping chest to bar pull-up work, and then last but not least, you combine all of those things and you have enough power, momentum, and height to get that first kipping bar muscle up. When it comes to the strict movements, so strict ring muscle ups, again, it's all about pulling strength. So we start with the strict pull-up, then we move on to the strict dips, and then honestly, once you have the strict pull-ups and strict dips, you should be able to do that strict ring muscle up. The strength component is high, but the skill is relatively low to get those strict movements. And then last but not least, not something most of us are too concerned with, but if you do really want a strict bar muscle up, it's all about pulling strength. So we're looking for strict pull-ups, we're looking for strict chest to bar, and then we want to keep increasing that height until you can almost pull that bar down to your belly button. Once you have that amount of power, it just is a simple grip and turnover, and then you can do your strict bar muscle up. So we've talked about the prerequisites, we've talked about the order of operations. Now I need to know, what muscle up are you going to try to learn first? In fact, what I would love to know is in the comments below, please tell me what prerequisites you have. So how many strict pull-ups can you do? How many kipping chest to bar pull-ups can you do? How many strict ring dips can you do? How many strict chest to bar pull-ups can you do? And all the other various prerequisites, leave your numbers in the comment below and then tell me what your plan is. And after you leave your plan below, I have a plan for you. So as promised, I have 2 free guides that I'd like to give you. In the top comment or in the description below, I have a couple links. One is to the ultimate guide to bar muscle ups, which I'd love to give you for free. And the other one is the ultimate guide to ring muscle ups. Granted, the bar muscle up focuses mainly on the kipping component. And then the ring muscle up, we talk about both strict and kipping muscle ups. So scroll down either in the description or in the top comments below, and I will make sure to send you those for free. But if you're someone who's really serious, if you're still here watching this video and you're really serious about learning muscle ups, I actually have 2 special programs that I'd love to offer you. We have Muscle Up Madness, which is our 8-week step-by-step ring muscle up development program, where you are 100% guaranteed to learn how to do strict and kipping ring muscle ups. And then we also have Bar Muscle Up Mastery. Bar Muscle Up Mastery is our step-by-step 8-week program guaranteed to help you learn your first kipping bar muscle ups. So those will also be linked below. If you're someone who's super serious about learning it, you should go check it out, and we guarantee you'll learn muscle ups with either one of those. So Thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't. Make sure you smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of the WODprep content on the way, and I will see you next week.
Come back. Come back. Where are you going? What am I supposed to do? It's such a long way down. Coach, don't. Coach.